Funky.
Hello, this is Yolanda Murphy, and welcome to this Exceptional Journey podcast, where you will find inspiration to live courageously through adversity, empowerment to live freely despite your past, and ignition to live boldly in your purpose, all by walking the survivor side of life. Good people. What is up? It is your girl Yolanda Murphy back with another episode of this Exceptional Journey podcast where I hope to inspire, empower, and ignite you to live your best life. What is up? How have you been? I feel like it's been forever. I feel like I have not been behind this microphone alone. I've been, doing interviews and all of that, but I feel like I have not been behind this microphone solo in such a long time. What is up? How have you been? So I'm just going to preface this podcast by saying you can probably hear my voice. I've been singing all weekend at church. I'm a little hoarse. I'm a lot hoarse, to be honest. And it's at this juncture probably about 11:15 at night. So I'm tired and I'm hoarse, so that does not make for a great combination. But I wanted to make sure to record a podcast for you guys because I wanted to make sure I got it done. So hey girl, hey boy, hey, how you doing? But before I get started, as always, I like to plug my social media. I am on Facebook and Instagram at This Exceptional Journey. And then you can also find me on Twitter at TEJ Podcast. Even hashtag that, guys. Hashtag TEJ Podcast. Any questions, comments, suggestions? Your girl wants to hear from you. And just a plug, if you're watching the YouTube video of this podcast, I am standing up this time. I usually sit, I'm usually real comfy cozy, but, as most of you may have known because you've listened to the, podcast before this, well, a podcast before this, which talks about being in menopause before 40, I am definitely feeling the side effects of menopause. And that's literally what this whole podcast is about. If you don't want to hear about the side effects, if you don't want to hear how I feel about it, you know what? I just appreciate you downloading it and listening up until this point. And I'm being honest. But let me say this weekend was a rough day for me. So I'm just, if you can't tell, I'm just going to go ahead and jump right into the podcast. This weekend for me was emotionally difficult. Now, if you've listened to the podcast where I talked about being in menopause before 40, you know that I have not had a menstrual cycle. I'm sorry if that's gross for some of you guys. But I have not had a menstrual cycle since the fall of last year. And it's not changed. It's not miraculously come back, not yet, at least. So this is where I'm at. And me and my doctor have talked about it. And he was like, this is what's going on. It's not a big deal necessarily because of the medicine that you're on. It's not necessarily not a big deal, but it's not a surprise. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. But however, this is my first time, dealing with breast cancer and having to be, on this specific medication, which is tamoxifen, which because I had, and just to give you a brief background, because my breast cancer was hormone positive, I'm on a medicine, which is tamoxifen, that lessens my estrogen, which is the hormone that is prevalent in my type of breast cancer that I had, which, will not allow the cancer to come back and feed off of my estrogen, which is why I'm on this medication, which lessens your estrogen to the point where I barely have any, and I'm technically in early menopause. I mean, they like to say if you're without a cycle for a year, literally you're in early menopause, but I mean, I'm feeling the symptoms, and that's what we're going to get into. So, say all of this to say, guys, I had a really great weekend, to be honest. It is my birthday weekend. And as I'm recording this, I've been wanting to record this for like a week or so, but probably if you've not been able to tell from any other podcast that you've listened from me, I'm not really someone that likes to share my emotions. And not necessarily that I'm not in touch with them, but I kind of like to process them on my own and, go about life how I see fit. So that's kind of what I've been doing with the whole early menopause and what I've been dealing with and facing and being where I am. So that's what I've been doing since last year. Just basically been like, okay, this is where you are because of the medication you're on. This is what you have to deal with. Cool. Yeah, but in November, I started to have back pain. I started to have, and for those of you that don't know, if you can't tell by the picture, I'm a little overweight, just a little bit. Like I eat too much chicken and fried chicken and all that stuff. But say this to say, so I've had bad knees for a while. Like so, I know what joint pain feels like. I know what it feels like for your body to be like, okay, I've okay, enough is enough. I know what that feels like. But this is something that I feel like no one could prepare you for, right? So, again, end of last year, have not had a cycle, but it wasn't until like November, like end of November, December, I started to feel the actual side effects of premenopause or early menopause. My mood swings changed, even like, and not necessarily, and I've talked about this before in another podcast, not just with other people, but with myself. Like, I would be, trying to get, my life is busy. My life, I mean, as all of us, our lives are busy. We have a lot going on. And I try to be as strategic as possible with my days or, my evenings with what I have to do. But I found myself getting I found myself getting like more quickly angry, if that makes sense, with myself. Like, B, why didn't you do this? Meanwhile, girl, like you just figured it out. You know what I'm saying? So I, I, I felt like my mood swings changed. Um, and then the body aches started to come. So my back, my joints, that is still there. The fatigue. And because here's the thing, and if there's any woman out there that can attest to this, when you're going through breast cancer and you put your body, I'm sorry, through the rigorous things that it has to go through, of course there's going to be side effects. But I did not expect that the the side effects would happen so quickly. And then that, like me going from not menopause to menopause, would happen so quickly, and that my body would respond as quickly as it has. Like, what? What? I didn't expect it, and maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm, just the only young adult woman that has had to face breast cancer and chemo and radiation and surgery, and felt, oh my goodness, gonna feel so good. Not that I really thought I was gonna feel good, but I felt like I would have been all right. I didn't realize menopause would have been 2 years out. I didn't think about that. So, say all of this to say, guys, that I wanted to get on here really quick. Yes, it's still really quick because, as you know, if you've listened to previous podcasts, I try to be quick, but because I'm Chatty Cathy, it never works that way. But what I wanted to do really quick, because this weekend I sang my church. If you don't know, my church has 3 services. And as a person who is on the praise team, you have to sing all of those services in the weekend. Um, there's one on Saturday and 2 on Sunday, 8:30 and 10:30. Mount Air Baptist Church, if you ever wanted to go while you're in Pittsburgh. Amen. Pastor Curtis. Well, Pastor William. Reverend Dr. William H. Curtis. Look him up. He's amazing. He'll save your life. Anyway, But I sang last weekend because the actual praise team that I'm on sang all three services last weekend. And then I sang this weekend because one of the members on this praise team, I'm an alto. If you can't tell, even when I'm not hoarse, my voice is kind of, hello. So she asked me to, stand in for her, fill in for her. So I did. So I sang 2 weekends in a row, and my body is feeling it. My voice, like I said from the very beginning, is feeling it. So all I wanted to do, really, guys, and because you guys are so amazing, I felt like I really could do this. I wanted to vent really quick about what it means to be a young adult cancer survivor, not just breast cancer, but any cancer survivor, because there's always an after. Prayerfully, if God, keeps and allows treatments to work, and allows our bodies to, go through what it needs to go through, there will be an after treatment. And along the way, and, cancer survivors, young adult cancer survivors, hit me up in the comments and let me know if you can attest to this. But it just feels like there's always something. And because it's Sunday, and because I'm feeling that something, I wanted to record it. You guys cool with that? Are you okay with that? Is that fine? Is that two or three things that I wanted to talk about that from last weekend to this weekend has really got my goat in regards to being a young adult cancer survivor after like surgery, active treatment from chemo and radiation, is that your body is never the same. Your body is never the same. Now, mind you, like I said earlier, I am a little overweight. Well, I'm a lot. According to the BMI, I'm morbidly obese. Okay. But listen, some people, they like all this. I'm joking, guys. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm tired. I apologize. But according to the BMI, I'm morbid obese or over obese. Is that a thing? I don't know. But either way it goes, I literally have been an athlete all of my life. Like from kindergarten, pre-kindergarten, my mom and dad had me in sports up until I played basketball in college. And then my late 20s hit, and then my 30s, and you're like, oh, I don't have to do anything. Oh, I'm gonna sit back. But here's the grace, or the greatest thing is when I do still try to do like active things, my heart rate comes back to a resting place very quickly. So I know that, my body's like, okay, we're used to this, but not all of this weight you're carrying is my point. But anyway, say that to say, so I am out of shape. I am, someone who is overweight. I know I need to lose weight. And if you've been following me on, any social media, you've seen that I have been trying to like work out. My part-time job is at Planet Fitness, so I get a free membership. And I've been trying to go in the evenings or in the morning and at least trying to get cardio in, baby steps, right? So I've been trying to do that. But these 2 last weeks, specifically, I'm not even going to go any further, although I could. These 2 last weeks, so last weekend I sang with my actual praise team that I'm on, which is very high energy, very like, oh, the music is kicking. Like, and for those of you that are not church, don't have no fear. Think of like your best rock concert or your best country concert or your best R&B concert, and the band is hitting, like the band is like blazing, and you're in the crowd just dancing and moving. Think of That's what praise and worship is like at my church. That's what it was like last weekend for me. So my knees, my back, my hips, everything felt it. Because we were high energy. We were very high energy. Like our leader gives that energy, and we're like, oh, we're right behind you. Boom. Yes, we're clapping, we're swaying, we're dipping, we're moving. And that's what we do. That was last weekend. This weekend, again, I filled in for another team member, for a team member on another team. I mean, we're all one praise team, but we're split up so that everyone doesn't have to sing every weekend, if that makes sense. So I filled in, and a little different dynamic, not in a bad way. They're not as much high energy, which I'm grateful for, but still have to give, at least vocally, my all. And still be me, you know what I mean? Like still giving, my sways and dips and swings, and all of that. So I say that to say, I'm beat. Okay. I am physically and mentally beat. And not that I can really attest this to cancer, not that I can really attest this to like being overweight, not that I can really attest this um, to being like because of active treatment. It's a combination of things. And I was talking to a close friend earlier today, and I was letting them know I'm in early menopause, and what comes with that in regards to bone pain and joint pain and muscle fatigue and just body fatigue in general, mental fatigue, in regards to stamina. Like halfway through the day, I'm like, I'm sorry, what did you say? Like I feel like I cannot concentrate. Ladies, let me know if you can attest to this. But singing last weekend to this weekend, I was angry. Let's just bring it up. And I'm saved. I love God. He is my all in all. But I was angry, and not necessarily at him, but at what I've had to go through over the last 3 years. I was angry, like to the point where I was like, you ever be so mad you cry? I can't be the only one, right? Like, I was so angry. And I was speaking to a close friend, and she was like, it's okay for you to be mad. And it just made me cry even more. It just made me cry even more because I was angry that my body was no longer where it was before. And again, don't get me wrong. I've not always been in shape, specifically since like my late 20s to now. I've not always been in shape. But I know what it feels like to be in shape. You guys understand what I'm saying. Yes, I let myself go in some areas, you know what I'm saying, in regards to what I eat, in regards to what I drink, or my late nights, what time I eat, or when I don't eat, specifically, because that's really my problem. I don't eat enough, and I'm working on it. Pray my strength and joy. But I say that to say, because of cancer, I feel like it's like heightened time to thousand. Like I feel like if I don't eat, like if I didn't eat before cancer, I could make it at least till like noon, 1 o'clock. And my body would be like, oh, B, did you eat? Like, can you grab a banana or something? Like, I would, okay, cool, cool. Now, if I get up at 8 o'clock in the morning, if I do not eat by like 10:30, I feel like I'm about to pass the F out. Like, legit. Like, little everyday stuff that we take for granted. And don't get me wrong, I don't think you really should, I don't really think you should not be eating that long. But ladies, I mean men as well, but if your day is busy and you get up and your feet just hit the ground running, you're just, you know what I mean, you're on a pace. I say this to say it's the little things. It's not just the fatigue. It's not just the bone pain or the back pain or I can't sit. I have a sitting job. My full-time job is a sitting job. I can't sit for longer than an hour, hour and a half before my tailbone hurts, before my back feels like it's heavy. And I don't even know if that makes sense. So then I have to stand up for like 2 hours. And then it's this whole thing. It literally is this whole thing. That's my day to day, what I go through as a young adult breast cancer survivor or as just a young adult cancer survivor that has gone through surgery, chemo, and radiation. The culmination hit me this weekend, however, and I apologize, guys, if I'm rambling because I was angry today, y'all. I was literally angry, and again, not at God, not necessarily at cancer, but the fact that I'm 39 years old for 2 more days. Hello, my birthday's April 2nd. My cash app is $YJ Murphy if you want to send me something. Had to plug that right there. But I was angry, guys. Because here I am, trying to do the things that I normally do. And I couldn't breathe. Like in some of the songs I was singing this weekend, I had to literally catch my breath. Now, there's some other medical things, and not necessarily like there's anything wrong, but I had a sliding hiatal hernia even before cancer. But it's exacerbated now, along with my neuropathy, which is another thing that bothers me. So not only can I not sit for like longer than an hour and a half, I can't stand for longer than like an hour and a half because since early menopause, If I do, I get the pins and needles in my feet. And not just like, oh, my foot fell asleep. No, like to the point where, girl, you better sit down before you can't feel your feet. Okay? So, guys, I say all of this to say, because I'm rambling. This weekend culminated a emotion of anger for me based upon where I am in regards to the side effects after breast cancer. Being 39 and feeling like I'm trapped in a 60-year-old's body. Not that I know what it feels like to be 60, but some of the things that I've heard my mom, my dad, my grandmothers talk about in the past, I feel like I have an old body. And when I try to explain to people, oh, I can't do that, or I can't sit for long, or I can't go to this because I can't stand for 2, 3 hours in a concert. They don't understand that. It angers me, guys. Oh, it angers me. It angers me. But, there is still victory. There's still victory. So not only did I want to let you guys know that it angers me, but I wanted to let you know that every day I am pressing towards the mark. Every day I am determined to find a way. So, okay, you got to deal with neuropathy. Okay. You have to deal with, coccyx pain. Isn't that what it's called? Isn't that what your tailbone is called? Your coccyx? I think that's what it's called. You have to deal with that pain. Okay. You have to deal with, I already had bad knees. It's even more expounded now. Cool. Okay. Well, not cool, but you understand what I mean. Okay. So but how are you going to make it better for you? What are you going to do to make it better? So I say all of this to say I've been trying to work out. I've been trying to eat more properly, to ensure that I keep my weight, or at least, start dropping weight, and doing more cardio and doing some lifting to get my muscles strong. If you're watching the YouTube video, you'll understand. But so I have been doing baby steps. I have been doing things, that my doctor have kind of been telling me to do anyway, even before cancer. Like, girl, get your tail on a treadmill. Okay, thank you. But I have been doing those things. I got sick, like you guys have probably heard, like a couple weeks ago. So I went back a couple times since then, just to see where my breathing was, and it's coming along. But say all of that to say I know what I need to do physically, working out, eating right. I know what I need to do. But the reality is these side effects are not going to go anywhere. I'm on tamoxifen for the next 2.5 years. These side effects are not going to go anywhere. So what I've decided in my, oh my, yes, I have my moment. Last night when I was what? I'm sorry guys, again, I'm tired. When I was on the phone with one of my close friends, like I was just like, I'm angry. Tears, just tears. And I was like, no, seriously, I'm angry. And she was like, it's okay to be angry. And I was like, no, I'm seriously, like I'm angry. And it's okay. So if you walk away with anything today by listening to this podcast, know that whatever you're going through, have your moments. Okay? Whether you're male, female, young, older, have the moments that you need to face how you feel about these moments. Right? Because at the end of the day, they're not just going to go away. They're not going to go away. Face them. Deal with them. And it might not be one day. It might be a couple days. It might be a week. It might be a year. Whatever it means for you. Face these things head on. Face however you're feeling. That's what helped me. Second, after you face it, come up with a game plan. Come up with a game plan. Okay, what can I do to make this better for me? So I know a lot of what I'm feeling and what's making me angry is physical. So I can't change that I'm on tamoxifen. I can't change what the side effects of that medicine is. But what can I change? I can change that I eat a burger versus a salad for lunch. Right? I can change that I eat at 5 o'clock versus 9 o'clock at night. I can change that. That's something I can change. I can change that I get sleep instead of going to bed at 1 o'clock every morning. Legit, y'all. I don't know what it is. I just can't fall asleep. But I can change from going to bed at 1 o'clock to going to bed at 10 o'clock and getting up early to work out. These are little things that are on my to-do list, things that I resolved to do. Go back and listen to that 2019 podcast. But these are little things that I can resolve to do. So yes, have your moment. Have your moment to face whatever it is that you're facing. It is difficult. It is challenging, but you can endure it. You can endure it. So once you face it, once you come up with a strategy. Oh Lord Jesus, I'm tired. I'm sorry, y'all. Once you come up with a strategy, see what you can do to make you better. Not what other outside forces can do to make you better. What can you do to make you better? If it's physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, whatever it is you can do to make you better, do that. Baby steps. Baby steps, because I ain't going to be in the gym 5 days a week. I would pass out somewhere. I would pass out somewhere. But what I am committed to do in this next month is every week be in the gym at the minimum 3 days a week for cardio, a minimum 3 days a week. That's my starting point. That's my starting point. What is your starting point? So have your moment, strategize what you want to do, and then God damn it, just go do it. And I know it's easier said than done. And again, I'm speaking from a point where I was angry. Guys, I was so angry this weekend. Listen, have your moment. Ladies and gents, whatever you're feeling, how you feel it, when you're feeling it, have your freaking moment. If it's something new, if it's something challenging, if it's something you've never had to face before, have your freaking moment. Second, strategize how you're going to be better for you, not for your mom, your dad, your sister, your brother, your best friend, your spouse. No, your job, your career. How are you going to show up for you so that number one can be attacked and materialized? That's two. Three, just do it. Nike, hashtag not sponsored. Just freaking do it. And, I'm one of those people where I absolutely positively believe in baby steps. So you do it how you need to do it. But please rest assured you have to start somewhere. Take those baby steps and do it. That's what I'm doing. This weekend, last weekend, my fatigue, my bone pain, and I have bone pain every day. Like again, I have a sitting job. Like I'm in bone pain every day. I still have mental fog from chemo every day. Literally still. Chemo brain is real. But what I've decided to do is make it kind of a process. It's to feel what I need to feel, process how I feel and where I want to go next, and do that goddamn thing. Easier said than done, of course, but you gotta start somewhere. So that's it, guys. I just wanted to let you guys know today was challenging for me. Today was absolutely challenging. This weekend culminated with last weekend was challenging. And probably with every other person in life, my week is completely full. Yes, my birthday is coming up. Oh, 40th birthday. Whoop, whoop, on Tuesday. And I'm taking some time off, just FYI. But I'm still here. I'm still living. I'm still getting stuff done behind closed doors. And you can do the same, guys. Please hit me up in comments, questions, comments, suggestions. If you're kind of in the same place, and again, it doesn't just have to be behind cancer. We all go through these things in life. We all go through places where we're like, nope, F it. Nope, I'm not doing anything. I don't want to do anything. I'm over it. But guess what? You are besides God, of course, who is the ultimate designer, but you are the designer of your own life. What happens in your life happens because of what you do or what you don't do. How are you going to make it better? Not just in 2019. I ain't trying to pull up resolutions, but how are you going to make it better for tomorrow, for the next month and the next month? That's all I do. I do baby steps. I can't even think about October. I can't even think about July. Let me think about April 1st. Let me think about April 6th. Let me think about April 30th. Let me think about May 1st. Then that's when I attack it. Cool? All right, guys, let me know how you feel about it. This is really kind of like a rant and rave, and I felt like I could do that because I feel like you guys know me and I feel like I could do it. But let me know if you have any comments, questions, suggestions. As always, hit me up on social media, even hashtag TEJ podcast. Guys, you will definitely catch me walking the survivor side of life, and I hope you are doing the same. I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.